What's up, guys? Hey, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Scribbles, the artist and crocheter behind Eclectic Scribbles, and we're made a lot more noise than I planned. We are doing a new video. In this video, I don't know if you could tell, but we're going to be crocheting because we haven't done that in a hot second. Anyways, what we are going to be trying to make today is Toasty the marshmallow. Toasty, my character Toasty, my little marshmallow friend that I just made up a month ago, is today's pattern. So my Patreon gets to vote on what they want each month in regards to the theme for their sticker collection and in regards to their new pattern every month. And this month they voted for Toasty. We are obsessed with Toasty. Yes, so that's what we're doing. We are going to make Toasty. And I'm a little confuddled. I'm a little confusion because not 100% sure how I'm going to make this marshmallow yet. And I hear you going, Scribbles, it's a fucking marshmallow. What are you talking about? This is easy. You just crochet. Just work it up, bitch. But you see Toasty? Toasty's got two very distinct, very separated legs, okay? And two arms. And Toasty loves dramatics. It loves to be ta-da. That's what Toasty loves. Toasty loves a little bit of flair. And I'm trying to make this bitch no sew if I can. And that is not going to be easy considering that Toasty has arms just cast up in the air. And Toasty has got two very separated distinct legs. I don't know if we can make this no sew. So here's a couple of things I'm trying to noodle out in my noggin. I am trying to figure out, do I want Toasty to be sitting down? Do we want a sitting Toasty? Do we want just like a squishmallow type marshmallow Toasty? Do we want a standing in all its glory ta-da Toasty? That's what we need to noodle out here. And I'm not sure. I don't know how to make Toasty no sew if he is standing up doing this. I don't know how to make him no sew if he's doing that. So if he's sitting down, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We can make it no sew and floppy armed. If he's sort of squishmallow-esque, we could definitely do that. It's the separated by quite a lot in the legs that's throwing me for a loop here. In addition to the arms. The arms are, yeah. So, do we do a low sewish pattern? It's not low sew. You have to sew on every one of his limbs and he's only got 4. So, do we do a pattern that involves sewing, or do we try to figure out a no-sew pattern? So when you're making a doll, you kind of bunch in to the legs, and the legs sort of form like an infinity sign, right? And then you work out that way, and it's easy to do because bodies are roundish, right? And they sort of just work out in the way that they need to. But if you're separated right here, you've got to fill in all of this space and make it not look dumb. And yeah, you can chain across and you can do this and that, but I just don't know if that's going to give me the angle that I want because Toasty is a marshmallow. So if you were coming up a body like that, that's not an issue. But Toasty doesn't do that because Toasty is a marshmallow. So Toasty is like a cylinder, right? And then he's got a flat bottom. Flat bottom girls do not make the world go round. He's a flat bottom, so we can't just build up slowly like that. We have to build out and then move up all at once. Even if we can, here's the other thing. Even if we can try to figure out how to make the legs sewn into the body, like crocheted into the body as you go, a no sew, you're still going to have to sew on the arms if he's doing this. If he's got his arms all flippy floppy down, then that's perfectly fine. You can crochet them first and you can crochet them in as you go, which may be an option for this, but yeah, you're still gonna have to sew them on if he's going ta-da. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do here. What I think we're going to do is we're going to start out with a shape. I need to find my shape for the body. So it is Saturday. It is September the 7th. And this is what we're doing. We are going to figure out the shape for Toasty. And we're going to try to design Toasty all in one day, all today. This is our challenge for today, and we're going to figure out how we want it. So first, I think we're going to start with a sewn version. I think that's really just going to be the best option for this, instead of trying to figure out how to no sew it. But that doesn't mean that Toasty can't have several iterations and Toasty can't have several options available. So maybe it's multiple patterns in one, different ways you can make Toasty. Maybe, to counteract the fact that it's a fairly simple pattern. So last month they chose a witch. Our little witch friend is available to the public and it is super cute. It's super cute. But she was a little bit more difficult. Obviously, she's a doll. Today, we're going to do something relatively simple and in theory shouldn't take that long. So maybe we try different iterations. I am using burlap blanket in white because he's a marshmallow, duh. And because this can hold up to a little bit more testing than say loops and threads or sweet snuggles, you know, all of that good stuff. Parfait chunky. So we are going to work in burlap blanket for the sturdiness today, and we're going to see how we go. So I'm going to doodle out a couple of things on my on my iPad. And in case you missed the last doodle I made in all of its artistic glory, this is what my doodle looked like for my witch. Isn't that awesome? That's sexy right there. I'm telling you, that's sexy. Anyways, so I'm going to doodle out a couple of things. Maybe how I might want the initial rows on the bottom of Toasty to look, or on the top of Toasty, bottom of Toasty. Anyway, anywhere on Toasty to see, you know, how big maybe I want this. So we're going to work from there. Because he's oblong and not circular, we need to start with a chain. The chain length will determine how oblong the Toasty is. So the longer the chain, the more oblong in shape Toasty will be. If you just want a round marshmallow, you don't need to start with a chain. You can start with a magic ring and just go up in a cylinder from there. What fun is that though? So I figure that marshmallows, are they oblong? I drew him sort of oblong. I did not draw him perfectly circular. So what we're going to do is we are going to chain across. We're going to turn and work back down the chain. We're going to come around the end stitch and we're going to go back down the chain to form our first round. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to increase at the end of the chain, and we are going to increase when we round the corner. So we're going to start there. You want to see what my doodle looks like? Hold please. See? Doodle. Perfect doodle. So we're going to start here. Okay? We're going to chain out. We're going to turn. We're going to come back this way. We're going to increase here, coming around this bad boy right here. And then we're going to increase when we get back here. So this side and this side look the same. And then we're going to continue around like that. That is the way that we're going to build out this oblong shape and make Toasty's body. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to be as informative. Let me turn you back around. Hold on. Okay. I'm trying to be as informative as I can when we do design these patterns with me. Because if you're ever interested in designing patterns of your own, you need to sort of know the mechanics behind it. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. This is how you build out an oblong shape. Oblong shapes are good for things like snoots on not perfectly round like muzzles of animals. So you've got like hippos and cows and other animals with sort of an oblong shape for their muzzle. This is a good technique for that. And this is the technique behind it. You chain for a certain amount, sort of how long you want it to really start. And then you come around the chain and you form the first round that way. You'll have seen this before if you've ever crocheted a cow or you've ever crocheted anything with an oblong muzzle. So that's the process behind it. And every time you get around to these corners, you're going to increase until you're ready for your muzzle piece to come up flat or just come back towards the head. When you're done increasing, when your muzzle is the size that you want it to be, then you stop increasing. So in our case, because Toasty is a flat bottom girl, you are going to find your oblong shape. It's going to look sort of like one of those like area rugs, you know, with the no corners, the oblong area rugs. We're going to get to area rug size, whatever size I want Toasty to be, and then we're going to scoop up. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to come up all at once instead of make a nice curve around. This is generally achieved by doing a back loop only around. That's going to keep our bottom nice and flat. If we increase appropriately, that's the other key when you're doing this kind of thing, is you want to make sure that you're increasing appropriately so that it stays nice and flat. Generally speaking, if you're working with something circular, you're going to work up. You're going to do 1 crochet and an increase. Then the next round is going to be 2 crochets and an increase. The next round is going to be 3 crochets and an increase until you get to the size that you want in the circle. And then you're going to back loop only, single crochet around, and that is going to like pull you straight up. Okay, if you're doing it with a circle. But oblong is a little bit different because you've got to curve in the right, you've got to increase in the right spaces. That's the trick for this. And you just have to find out what those right spaces are as you go along. That's what we're going to do. I am going to find out how big I want Toasty, and we're going to start from there. So I'm going to stop talking and I am going to figure out how many, oh, my throat made a weird noise. I'm going to figure out how many chains I want to start with, and we're going to start from there. So I take my rings off for this because I wear compression gloves as I crochet. I highly recommend, if you are getting up there in age like me, or if you just care about your hand health in general and don't want to live through arthritis and crippling carpal tunnel and a host of other problems, wear your compression gloves. They're going to save your hands. They're going to save your hands a lot of pain, especially when you're working with the larger yarns. It takes a lot more movement in your hands. It takes a lot more movement in your hands to crochet with the bigger weight yarn than it does with, you know, your standard acrylic or cotton 4-ply. Even Parfait Chunky does not put as much strain on your hands as working with the bigger yarn. I'm just saying. So we're going to start out. We're going to start out right now with a slip knot. That's how I make my slip knots, because it's super easy to do it that way. And I am going to chain out. As I'm doing this, I am going to be writing out what I do on a piece of paper. So let's grab that. We want to make accurate notes when we're doing things, because I don't always, but then I have to go back and I have to write this pattern down. So I need to know what I did, right? So we're going to turn the page here on our handy dandy notebook, and we're going to write Toasty up at the top. And we're going to start there. So I'm going to put my thinking cap on, and I am going to go to town trying to figure out what we're doing here. When you get to the end, you're going to work 3, generally speaking, you're going to work 3 into 1, and you are going to come back down the back side of your bumps here. So you'll come back down this side, and then generally speaking, you will increase, depending upon how you write your patterns, you will increase in the very last stitch before you get to the first stitch of the row again. Put my stitch marker in right here. This is what our first round looks like. This is it. And I am going to sort of go off camera and work for a little bit here and charge you guys while I am doing it, because you need some battery and I need my brain power to actually focus on my design. But when I get to a sort of point where it makes sense to update you a little bit, I will definitely do that, which is probably going to be when we have the full oblong shape before we move up. So I am going to write down what I've got here and make sure that I understand it and I've got the right number of stitches, because I was talking to you guys and whatnot. And then I am going to move on from here, and I will update you very soon on what we've got next. All right, so honestly speaking, it's probably only been about 5 minutes. You've gotten a little bit of charge, but it's really not been that long. This is what we're looking like. This is the oblong shape that I'm talking about, and this is what we were looking for. This is three rounds. This is 3 rounds into this design, and I have it looking exactly sort of the oblong-y shape that I want it to be. So this is where I'm going to start to work up the pattern. So I have gotten to a specific number of stitches, and we're going to work straight up. So the next round that I'm going to work is really just going to be, you can do 2 things. You can have a hard stop, or you can sort of have a rounded edge, okay? The hard stop is going to be if you put back loop only, okay? And that's going to give you flat bottom, completely flat bottom. The other option that you can do here is that you can just single crochet in both loops, and you're going to have a little bit more of a rounded edge. I'm trying to figure out which of those 2 things that I want, because if you look at a marshmallow, it sort of does have that flat shape. But to make something look just a little bit softer, I think it's going to give too much of a curl. I wanted to do this video specifically because I want you to see what goes into thinking about how patterns are made and how to design patterns of your own if you want to. So I think that we're going to go for the hard stop. I think we're going to go for the back loop only round to start to work up, and I'll tell you why. Because it's not always a super hard stop, but it does give you the flat bottom. And if you think about a marshmallow, you do want the flat bottom. It just stops. It's not a rounded option. And sometimes if you just start to go up and don't do the back loop only round, it's going to give you like a super curved edge, and it's going to start to do like this. It's going to curve up like this. That's not what we want. So when thinking about how to do this specific pattern, that's the option that I think I am going to go with. And so the next round that I work is going to be a back loop only round, and it's going to be just single crochet around in the back loop only, and we're gonna go with that. So I'm gonna do that real quick so that I can show you what I mean. done our back loop only round. So when we go to stuff it, we made a little boat. We've made a little boat. When we go to stuff it, it's going to hit this edge and it's going to bend there instead of curving more gradually and making this shape. It's going to flatten out on the bottom and it's going to start going up here. I hope you can see the difference. Maybe, you know, if I wasn't doing this in white, it'd be a little bit easier to tell. But you can see it's all in here, and this row is going to fold up just like that. Here's the outside. You're going to see the little hard edge right there. Right there. There's your hard edge, and this is where it's going to curve up and start to make the sides or the walls of our marshmallow character. All right. So I've written that down. Now, I have to decide based on this thickness how tall I want it to be. So we now have to figure out how many rows I'm going to go up to determine how long or how tall Toasty is. So that's going to take a little bit. I'm just going to wing it, and I'm just going to go up until it feels right, and I'm just going to mark off a tally every time I create a row, and then tally up the tally marks at the end to see how many rows I went up. Because there's nothing else to this body. There's no curve in or curve out or anything like that. It's just a marshmallow. It's going to go straight up. Got the body. Body is done. Check. So we've got the top, which is where we started because it's nice and clean. That's going to be the top. Bottom has got a little pudge right there, but that's okay. That was my fault, not anything in the pattern. But the bottom looks just as good. So really, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call that the bottom, you can call that the bottom. If you want to call this the top, you can call this the top. Who cares? Anyways. It's a marshmallow. Marshmallow, check. All right, next we need feet. We need feet and we need arms. I really want to say that I probably could have found a way to crochet these in, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there just yet. By the way, I've been working on this for about an hour and 15-ish minutes, and that's with talking to you guys and coming up with a pattern and making it and doing everything, so that's really actually not that bad. We're gonna make some arms and legs. But we've got our base, and that's the important thing. And he's a nice size. He's a nice, like, hand size. So if you make this in parfait chunky, he'll be like ish, something like this size, and about like this amount. Yay big. Anyways. Feet. Don't know how I want to do these yet. Do I want to do... In the drawings, I kind of like pudge out like a little toe, and he may have a little thumb. And then like a mitten hand. Do we want to be accurate to the photos that I drew once? Or do we want to sort of just go down? So I've been working right along, as you can see, and now I am working on the arm. We've got our little thumb up here, which is fantastic. We've got it curved to where it sits at an angle here, so it'll look like he's saying hello. I think we'll be able to get it that way. I don't know if he maybe needs one more. Let me look at it from... I don't know if maybe he needs one more. No, I think that's probably going to be good. I think that's going to be good. He can say hello. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off, and we're going to call this an arm. and I'm gonna leave myself a tail this time. In the first leg, I didn't leave a long enough tail, and I had to use the tail from the second leg to finish the last couple of stitches. Oh, that's gonna be cute. I keep pulling it down with my hand, but that's how it's gonna sit. Here we are, look at him. Oh my goodness, with his little thumbs up. It's super cute. Now I have to figure out what I'm gonna do for the eyes, because I don't have eyes that are big enough, I think. You're gonna hear my husband's phone going off in the background. Probably, he's in there washing dishes. This is the largest eye that I think I have. That might be big enough. I don't know if I have two of them though. Like, I have two of them obviously, but I don't think that I have two of them in here. I'm going to use two different eyes to sort of gauge it based on Toasty. Oh, they're not going to stay. So I've got one that's regular and one that is like this. And technically, I think they would be big enough for Toasty. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good size for the eyes. And then we'll put a little mouth. I'm gonna have to make some eyes for that though. So we're gonna do that. And I also want to grab some safety eyes and see what size might be a good fit. I'm thinking probably a 25 millimeter would look good on this, but for people who do want to use safety eyes, I want to give a good estimation as to what eyes will fit well. And then we've got the felt eyes, and then of course you can embroider your eyes. But the important part is we're done the body. I think I may try to give him a little butt real quick, because I did give Toasty butt cheeks. So we're going to give him a butt real quick, and then I'm going to go find my unpainted safety eyes, which are over here behind me on the shelf. Okay, I'm so excited. Okay, these are 25 millimeter eyes. I think they are going to be absolutely stinking perfect for him. Turn him around. We gave him butt cheeks, and the butt cheeks like cinched his legs together in just the right way. And now he's kind of got this little arch to him. Ta-da! He's got the arch to his back now because we cinched him in a little bit with the butt cheeks, and he is doing exactly what I want him to do. So obviously these are sinker eyes, and they're not painted or anything. These are just 25 millimeter eyes as they come. And for another plushie, I will probably go ahead and add them in the round, but I wanted to check placement. And I wasn't sure how many rounds he was going to be. So this is like, you know, the prototype or whatever. And I'm going to have to make him again regardless, because I need to check the timing and everything else on how long it's going to take to make our little friend here. But yeah, you can have him with these eyes. You can embroider eyes. You can have him with these eyes. But oh my gosh, he's perfect. He's so stinking cute, and I love him. I just showed him off to my patrons, so they're going to get to see him first. Obviously, I'm doing that in real time, which you can do as well. And if you want Toasty's pattern, this month is what you are getting on Patreon for your pattern of the month. And don't forget, if you join in the $7 or $10 a month tier, you also get a complimentary pattern. So you can have any of the patterns that I have available anywhere, not just on Patreon. You can get one free pattern from me just by signing up to my Patreon. So if you are looking for this guy in the month of September, he will come out in the month of October, most likely. For everybody else, in the October 1st drop. But if you want him now, you can get him over on my Patreon. The patterns are on the $7 tier. The vault is on the $10 tier, and in the vault you get a bunch of just bonus patterns, and you're going to get a bunch of mods and things like that too. We are slowly building up the vault. I just put a leggy candy corn in there the other day, and I think I'm going to go put a little ghost friend in there as well for spooky season. So those are the kinds of patterns that go into the vault. I have got several over there right now. But anyways, yes, look at Toasty. He's such a cute size. Like, look at this. He's such a cute size. He just came out perfect in the burnout blankets. He's so squishy and soft. He's like a pillow. I love him. Look at him. And then he's got butt cheeks. Butt cheeks on everything is my train of thought. But look at him. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now, before I write it up, I need to check everything. I need to go through and make him again. We started about 10:15 today doing this, and I've had to run out a couple of times and address things with my husband and address things with the dogs and things like that. But it is 10 minutes after 1 right now. So I think we've been fairly productive. We have made this guy right here, and we have designed the pattern for it from scratch. So we are doing a very, very good, we're making good time. We're making good time is what we're doing. So I'm going to go and I am going to make another one of these. I think I had Toasty's eyes as like green, but I'm going to go and shoot over here and just look for a fun, cool color in my paints. I'm going to go ahead and paint these 25mm stickers. I dropped one. It's down on the floor. Hold on. Bubba, did I throw something at you? I did throw something at you. Let me grab it. Let me grab it. So. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint these safety eyes so that hopefully by the time I get up here to the round that I have sort of made here, they will be ready to go. Because I'm going to do the arms first. The arms and the legs I'm going to do first, and then I am going to start working on the body. So that should give these plenty of time to dry. Anyways, we'll see. Probably not. But for a prototype, it'll be plenty of time. So I'm going to grab some paint, and that's what we're going to do next. Is now I need to test my pattern. It's important. It's important. Okay. Once you have the thing made the first time, check your pattern, make it again, and make sure that you do not run into any errors personally as you are making it the second time. Make sure that it's clear and it comes out right when you make it the second time. That is an important step. Do not leave that out because you don't want to leave it on your pattern testers to really double check everything. You just want them to be able to sort through the pattern itself. Yeah, you just want them to be able to sort through it without any issue and to come back and say, hey, this worked up great. Thank you so much. Here's the one that I made. That's what you want. Okay, so make sure that you test your pattern before you send it out to anyone. And I'm going to be testing my pattern before I write it up and shoot it over to my patrons who also serve as pattern testers for me. So they will let me know if they run into any issues during this month, if they make it or when they make it. And that way I can make any tweaks necessary before I run out and release it to the public in October. So anyways, gonna go paint. All right, I'm pulling up Time Tracker Pro. It is a free app. I am going to move over to the timer, which looks like this. And I am going to time myself on how long it takes me to make another toasty. I have got eyes over here drying. I have painted them with glittery, it's called Dragon Scales glitter, and I am finishing it off hopefully with something called Dragonfly Glaze in blue, green, gold shift, and then I'm gonna have to do black on the back of it to make that pop out. But we're going to see if it's worth it. We're going to see if it's worth it. I am going to time out how long it takes me to make Toasty. I was going back and forth between whether I wanted him to be no-sew or not. And you know what? I just don't. I think that for the 5 minutes it's going to take you to sew on the legs, it's fine. And that way, with the body shape, you can choose to put the legs up in front, or you can choose to put the legs down so that he's standing, so he could go into a standing or sitting pose. I'm also going to include an option for the hands just to be down and sewn into the round, I believe. So I am going to check that as well. But first we need to figure out how long it takes us to make this toasty specifically. And for that, we are going to start all over. So I am going to get ready here, and I'm going to make the arms and the legs first. That way I can get those out of the way and figure out how long it takes to make those. And then we will do the body shape and figure out how long it takes to make that as well. I may try and weigh everything that's happening here. If I can figure out where I put my scale, I got one over there somewhere. Weigh this as we go so that we can figure out how much weight, how much we need of the yarn as well as the stuffing. I try to include as much information about what you need in the patterns as I make them, and with each pattern that I write, I'm doing more and more as far as adding the stitch counts, adding the approximate time that it would take you to make this project, adding the amount of yarn that you're going to need to make this project, adding the safety eye instructions or the felt eye instructions or anything like that. So yes, I'm going to start timing myself to make a toasty, see how long it's going to take, and then we need to do a sitting version of toasty as well. So lots of toasties happening today, lots of toasties. Okay, I have timed myself doing all the pieces. I have weighed out all the pieces. I have all the pieces sitting here. I'm waiting for my safety eyes to dry. I've got 2 legs, and I actually ended up with 3 arms. I did the regular arm. Yeah, I did the regular arm that was on the first toasty so that I could get the measurements and the timing for it. And then I did the arm for what's going to be the sitting toasty with his arms down, or standing toasty with his arms down. Hello, Whiskey. Hello. Hi. Hi. Yeah, get down. There was Whiskey. Anyways, I have done these 2 arms. So these will have a slightly different instruction, and I'm one yarn chicken. This was all the yarn that I had left, so I've got a super long tail on that one for now, but that's okay. Anyways, here is everything all ready to go for a sitting toasty. I'm going to put that together once my eyes dry. They look nearly dry with the first coat, but I still have to put the black on them, so I probably won't get to put him together until tomorrow. But what we are going to do now is I am going to go over here and start typing up the pattern, which I can't show you, but I can tell you about. So I am adding in some new things as far as difficulty, stitch instructions, and a couple of other things I want to have in there so that people know what I'm talking about when I say something. So I'm trying to be as informative and as detailed as possible in my instructions as I can. So I'm going to work on that now, and then we'll keep going. I'm going to, yeah, it's about 3:15 right now. I've been working on it for about 5 or 10 minutes, but I figured I would come on here and tell you guys about it. I got to go feed the dogs in about an hour or so, but otherwise I'm going to be working on this. Everybody over on Patreon is super excited about Toasty, and so am I, so I'm super happy about that. But yeah, I'm going to go type this bad boy up so that I can get it ready for them. All right, you guys, so it's done. It's done. It is done with a couple of caveats. Toasty, the pattern, is done. I have just uploaded Toasty the pattern to my Patreon. However, I have changed up a couple of things that I'm doing with this pattern that I have not done before. If you are on my Patreon, you get a pattern every single month. This month, well, and you get to vote on it, but this month you get the Toasty pattern. And as such, you guys are technically the testers if you're on Patreon for this pattern. At the end of every single pattern moving forward, I have got a special page at the very end for my testers and patrons, basically. So you're the only people who get to test the Patreon monthly pattern. And if you want, you can finish the pattern by a deadline. I put it at Monday, September the 23rd, I believe, for this month. Today is Saturday the 7th. Saturday the 7th. If you want to complete whatever project it is for that month, this month being Toasty, submit a photo, a finished photo to me on Instagram so that I have your Instagram handle. I will add your finished make to my tester page in the back. I'm not going to be designing just one pattern each month. This month, for example, I have 4 patterns that I want to make in this month. any of my other patterns that I release, so this goes out for everybody, any of my other patterns that I release, I choose from my Patreon first to get testers, but I also get testers from other places like YouTube or Instagram or wherever. So if you are a pattern tester for that, you will be added to the last page in those books. But because the only people who test this pattern before it goes public, this one will go public on October the 1st, because my Patreon are the only people who actually test the pattern, they will be the only ones who get to be added to the thank you page in the back. So I am waiting for my eyes to dry. I was like living in the Lululand or something. I don't know what was going on with me and my brain, thinking that these eyes were going to dry anytime soon. But this coat is sort of drying now. I don't know if you can see that. I've got some funky things happening. But in order for this shift to work, I have to put black on the back, and these are not quite dry yet. So I'm still waiting on those to dry so that I can add them to the second version of my toasty dude. And then I'm going to be making some felt eyes, I believe, to add to this dude right here so that he has some lovely felt eyes. And I can take photos of both of them together. So I'm going to do that. And that's pretty much gonna round it out. I mean, I can't really show you anything else. I can't show you the actual pattern, which I designed in Canva because it's easy and I can just copy my previous patterns and then tweak what needs to be tweaked. Like I can have the same formatting for each one of them, super simple, and I don't have to mess with a whole lot and bounce between programs or anything like that. So that's what I use to design my actual patterns, and then I just download the PDF from there, and then I share the PDF to either my web shop so that y'all can download it upon purchase, or I share it to Patreon and get it to them for that. Upcoming patterns that I want to design this month include the next snuggler pattern, which I want to be an axolotl snuggler. I have got this little stress ball that's going to be kind of funny in my head, and I'm going to have to work out the logistics for that. And then following that, the last weekend of this month, I want to do this little goblin fairy guy who is sort of floating around in my head as well. So I have got 3 additional patterns that I want to do. The dragon snuggler pattern, which is this one right here, and the little opossum snuggler, which is right here, are super popular. So if you want to check out either one of those patterns, I will link them down below. You can get either one of these free if you sign up for Patreon as your complimentary gift for this month, or for signing up, or you can choose any other pattern that I have available. I think that's going to wrap up today's video, though. That is me designing a pattern. That is the walkthrough of designing this Toasty the Marshmallow pattern with me. I hope you love it. I love it. He's super stinking cute. He's going to be even cuter when he has actual eyeballs on his head, but that is my entire process. That is everything that I put into designing this pattern right here. Go and grab them over on my Patreon for the month of September. I love your faces. I will see you in the next video. Oh, by the way, don't forget to smash that subscribe button down there. I think it's over here. Just hit that little subscribe button down there. Ding your little notification bell so you're informed each and every time I upload new content. And let's see. Oh, hit the thumbs up button. And is there a marshmallow? Is there a marshmallow anywhere in the emojis? Is there a marshmallow down there? If there is a marshmallow, drop it down in the comments. If not, let's do pink love hearts in the comments if we do not find any toasty marshmallows. I always don't know what's happening down there with the emojis or whatever. Y'all be coming up with some crazy things though. So let's see what you got emoji wise down in the comments below. I will see you in the next video. I love you so much. I don't think, yeah, I did. I turned it on. Okay, so it's running. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Goodbye.